Hallway, and this is Dave. If you're interested in learning ancient Greek or Latin, then you should contact me. My information is in the description. It's something that I love to tutor in my spare time and have been very interested in ever since I majored in ancient Greek in college a very, very long time ago. And last time we were reading Socrates' explanation. This is from the Cambridge textbook reader, an adapted version of Plato's Apology of Socrates. And so far, what we had figured out was that he said that he was going to present the god at Delphi, right? The oracle at Delphi speaks for a god, and he was going to present the god at Delphi as a witness as to why people were slandering him and giving him a very bad reputation in Athens. The reason, of course, that he's now being tried for corrupting the youth, and ultimately, spoilers, but I think you've had time to figure this out, he gets put to death. He's forced to drink poison as a sentence. But in any case, what we saw last time, we made it to about here, line 11 in this text, and we got to where he brings up Chaerephon, who is one of his companions from his youth. He says, Chaerephon tegar iste pu, surely you know Chaerephon, hutos gar emos hetairos ein ekneu. Ein is just the imperfect of to be, right? So he was. So this man, hutos gar, for this man, emos hetairos ein, was my companion, ekneu, from childhood. Kai iste de, and indeed, okay, you know, hos spodros en ho chaerephon peripanta, how now spodros means like impetuous. So you know how impetuous Chaerephon en was peripanta about everything. Okay. And then I ho Chaerephon putos pote elogizeto pros heauton. Okay, so what does this mean? Kai is just and, right? And Chaerephon elogizeto. So this is, you see the word log, kind of like logos in there, right? It's like he reasoned or he considered. Okay. And Chaerephon reasoned thus to himself, pros heauton. And pote just means once. So Chaerephon once reasoned thus to himself. And here's a quotation mark, and he says, Hoti Socrates sophos estin eu oida. So eu oida just means I know well. This is an irregular verb, okay, that has all kinds of different looks, unfortunately, so it can be very confusing for beginning Greek students. But eu oida just means I know well. So that Socrates sophos estin, that he is wise, eu oida, I know well. Boulomai de edenai tis esti sophoteros Socrates. Okay, so boulomai, I want or wish. We've seen that one. Okay, edenai, to know. This means if or whether, you could say here. I think whether is a better translation here. I want to know whether tis, anybody, esti, is, sophoteros, wiser, Socrates, than Socrates. Okay, and then we have isosgar Socrates sophotatos estin anthropon. For perhaps, and we've seen all these words just reading this, right? For perhaps Socrates is, and then sophotatos, if you noticed sophoteros, sophos is wise, sophoteros was wiser, sophotatos is wisest. So for perhaps Socrates is wisest, the wisest of men, anthropon. That's the genitive plural for men. Okay. Iun poien me de, he asks himself, right? So what is he asking? Well, this is the interrogative pronoun, like quid in Latin. So, and so, un is and so what, dei, that means it is necessary. So what is necessary for me, me. So what must I do? In other words, poien is one of our vocabulary words, right? Poieo, to make or do. So what must I do? And then naturally he comes up with the answer right away. Delon hoti de me eis delphus ienai. Okay, so delon means that means clear, and it's just understood. It is clear that hoti de me, that I must, it is necessary for me, ienai, to go, eis delphus, to Delphi, pi manteu esti. Now this verb manteu esti, this is like a middle infinitive, and it is a very specialized word that basically means to get a pronouncement from the oracle. Okay, so I must go to Delphi to get a pronouncement from the oracle. Polegar ananke esti ponteon ten alethean legen. So this means for pole ananke esti, it is very much pole, okay, ananke, it is very much necessary, ananke, right, necessary, ponteon, for the god, legen, to tell, ten alethean, to tell the truth. Okay? All right. So then we have this. E un ho chairefon eis delphus. All right. So this e here is just a imperfect form of erchomai, or amy, to go. Okay. So, and so Chaerephon went eis delphus, to Delphi, kai tauten ten mantean emanteu santo para to deo. So, and he, here again, this very, it's the aorist of this very specialized verb, right? He obtained a manteon, right? He manteu santo, the manteon. So he obtained the proclamation by the god, para to deo. Okay, and para to deo. This is supposed to mean like in the presence of the god. Okay, so he obtained the proclamation in the presence of the god. Kai me torubete o Andres, and Andres is just o Andres. He's addressing the jurors and telling them, don't chatter amongst yourselves, O men. Eretogar de tis esti sophoteros e Socrates. So ereto, this is a much compressed form of what would be, if you remember, erotao is to ask. We had that right way up at the beginning here, erotosin, right? And this, normally would form into the aorist to be erotesen, okay? But instead you get this vastly compressed form, ereto. So he asked, garde, for indeed he asked, tis esti sophoteros e Socrates. So he asked whether tis, anyone, esti is sophoteros e Socrates, wiser than Socrates. Apecrinato de hutia oti udes esti sophoteros. So the Pythia, meaning the woman who would speak on behalf of the god at Delphi, answered apecrinato, hoti, that, oŭδείς ἐστι σοφώτερος, that no one is wiser. So there you have it. Socrates is explaining that Hierophone went and to the Oracle of Delphi, asking the question, is there anyone in the world wiser than Socrates? And the answer he got back was, no, Socrates, nobody's wiser than Socrates. And so I'm sure you're wondering, well, if you haven't read the book, you're wondering, well, why does this make Socrates have such a bad reputation? Well, we'll see. Maybe we can continue next time, and we'll learn a bit more about how this got Socrates into very big trouble when he started asking questions about it. In the meantime, you're interested, I mean, give me a like, give me a subscribe, leave a comment, tell me if I got something wrong. But if you want to learn ancient Greek or Latin, I love these ancient languages, and they will definitely help you and benefit you as you go through your learning journey. And maybe you have a student who is struggling with one of them, or maybe you yourself want to learn. Maybe you're in your well into your career and you're interested in learning something that you haven't seen before, something new, quote unquote, even though it's thousands of years old. This is just the thing. Ancient Greek and Latin are terrific. Till next time, voile.